Yes, now over to John.
It is Trial Tuesday once again. Today we're discussing how to fight traffic citations, whether you're fighting a speeding ticket or a serious accident. It's important to seek legal representation before you head into courtroom. Our own resident speed racer, attorney David Ayler, here to weigh in. Counselor, thanks for being on the show. This seems to happen to everybody. I mean, no one is really immune unless you're following all the rules of the road. Even sometimes you can get a ticket out there. Nobody wants to pay it. Everyone says, just go fight this thing in court. The cop will never show up. Just give it a shot. Is that your best recourse?
Well, you know, that is a way you could roll the dice, but probably not going to be the best move. But going to court is important. You often hear, all of us hear from friends, family, things like that saying, well, I don't think I did that, or, you know, maybe I wasn't going that fast, or whatever the case may be. And the important part to understand is that you actually can fight that in court. You can do it on your own in front of a judge or a jury, or you can also, of course, bring in an attorney to assist you. Believe it or not, most people don't realize that you actually could have a jury trial here in the state of South Carolina on something as small as a speeding ticket.
Is that the way to go? It seems like I hear that a lot, especially, you know, in some court dates that I've gone to as a reporter. People say, well, I'd like a jury trial. How long does that process play out? And is it more cost effective to just pay the ticket or go down that legal road?
Well, you bring up a good point. It's all about time. You know, if you ask for the jury trial, you're not going to have it that day. It'll be later on, you know, depending on what the docket looks like, probably within a couple of months of the actual date of your first court date. But what people often don't understand is they want to go into court and explain to the judge, similar to like talking to a boss or a parent or, you know, a principal if you were in school, here's what happened, here's what I think. And that's not really the format that's proper for the courtroom. And oftentimes people find themselves guilty anyway because sort of the procedure of how they did it was incorrect.
It seems to me like traffic court, it happens, you know, once every couple of months. You have everybody that's gotten a traffic ticket and trying to get out of it. When you go into this situation, the last time I was there, there was the police officer who had given out all those tickets, literally had a stack this big of citations in all his evidence, and he argued every single one of those cases. So is that something that you need to have an attorney there for if you're going to just traffic court? Well,
if you feel like that you want to fight the ticket, and this is obviously what we're talking about. Some tickets you don't even have to go to court. You can just pay the ticket ahead of time. But if you do want to fight it, you know, going on your own is fine. But like you said, they obviously have a lot of tickets on the docket. So what you can do is if you bring in an attorney, they can actually, you know, move that court date, either move it to a jury trial at a later point or get it continued because of some other court conflict. If you go by yourself, it's a lot harder to do that. Oftentimes we get calls and things about people saying, well, I've got to take my child to school, or I've got a dentist appointment, or I've got work or whatnot. And you can't just call the court and tell them that because they obviously hear excuses all the time. So part of the procedure side of it, of getting an attorney, is they can handle all that for you with the clerk of court's office. But what often happens is people go in on their own. They want to argue sort of what happened or what they think is right or wrong, and then they don't get on the winning side. They end up losing, and then they want to work backwards, which is a lot harder to do. They want to work backwards because of the fine, the points, and of course the potential insurance. And it gets even more serious when you're talking about car accidents.
Obviously this comes down to points and things like that. What about, can you plead down these charges? I've seen sometimes that happens in a court where you're going, you know, let's say 30 miles over the speed limit, and the cop or the judge will be nice to you and say, all right, we'll give you 10 miles over.
Yeah, absolutely. Most all judges, if you come in there and want to plead guilty to the charge, they will reduce, you know, the points or the fine, or at least the fine itself. So that is something that you can do just to try to get a reduction. Other times they won't reduce it because maybe it's at the lowest level. So what we're really talking about here is, do you want to try to go get that reduction in either the points and or the fine, or are you actually trying to fight the cause altogether? For instance, with a car accident, you have two sides. You either have the, you know, person found at fault or not at fault, contributing to the accident. And if you're found contributing to the accident, whether they write a citation or not, and they usually will, then you're talking about, you know, liability that comes completely outside of that traffic court related to your insurance and all types of things that can come from that.
And of course, if you drive safe, you'll avoid this whole thing altogether. Attorney David Ayler, thank you for your time, sir. We do appreciate it. As always, much more after the break. Stay with us.
Trial Tuesday, brought to you by attorney David Ayler.